Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to tackle how to craft a really powerful 500-word reflection. And I want you to forget about this being just another assignment. Seriously, think of it more as a journey, a chance to turn your own experiences into a compelling story of self-discovery. So you ready to get started?
So yeah, this is the big question, right? How do you take what looks like a simple assignment and turn it into something that's actually meaningful, something that tells a real story? Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today. Shifting your mindset from seeing a chore to seeing a really cool opportunity for some genuine insight.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to talk about action and intention. Then, we'll get into the subjective experience, how it all actually felt. After that, we connect those feelings to some cold, hard data. And finally, we'll use all of that to figure out what's next. It's a clear path, so let's jump right in.
Right, before we get lost in the storytelling, we've got to make sure we understand the foundation. Every great piece of writing, even a reflection, is built on a solid blueprint. So let's just quickly go over the core task.
The rules of the road are pretty straightforward. We've got a 500-word limit, which is tighter than you think. We need to stick to APA 7 style, use the 3 references they gave us, and, this is the big one, make sure we answer 5 key questions. But look, don't think of these as restrictions. They're more like the boundaries of our creative sandbox. And here they are, those 5 key questions. Let's think of them as landmarks on our little journey. We're going to describe our behavior, talk about our feelings, see how those feelings line up with our scores, compare our experience with the whole group, and then, finally, plan what we're going to do next. So, let's head to that first landmark. All right, Section 1, Action and Intention. This is all about defining your what and your why. We're getting really specific here about what you actually did, or maybe just as importantly, what you chose not to do, and digging into the reasons behind that choice. So, you basically had 2 paths you could take. Did you try something new, a new way of contributing? Or did you stick with the usual, what you already know? Your whole story really kicks off right here, with the path you chose and why you chose it. To really build out this part of your reflection, just use these questions as your guide. Be specific. What exactly was the new thing you tried? Why that one? How often did you manage to do it? And hey, if you didn't make a change, be honest about why. That honesty, that's what's going to make your reflection hit different.
So, we've covered the what you did. Now it's time to explore the how it felt. We're making a shift here, from the external actions to your internal world, your emotional landscape. This part is all about your personal subjective experience.
Before you even start writing this section, just take a second and think about this. Where did your experience land? Was it overwhelmingly positive, kind of negative, or maybe it was just neutral? Or, and this is super common, a messy mix of feelings. Pinpointing this first will give you a fantastic starting point. Okay, this is where things get really interesting. We're switching gears into analysis mode. This is where we take your personal story, all those feelings, and connect them to the objective data from your scores. This is data meets feelings. And just so we're all on the same page, when we say subjective experience, we're talking about everything that was going on inside your head. Your unique feelings, your thoughts, your perceptions. This is the stuff that only you can talk about, and it's what makes your story yours. This is the absolute core question for this section. Look at your scores, then think back to your feelings. Did they tell the same story? For instance, maybe your well-being score went up, but did you actually feel any better? Or was there a weird disconnect? Finding that tension, that surprise, is gold. That's what you want to write about.
Now for the next piece of the puzzle, you can use a simple tool like this to compare your own experience to the cohort. That's the average for the whole group. Just fill in your numbers, your feelings, and see how you stack up. It adds this super important layer of context to your personal story.
So, after you've laid out your story and compared it to the data, a clearer picture starts to emerge, right? We've looked back, we've analyzed what's happening now, so it's time to use that picture to look forward. This final section is all about turning that insight into a real plan for what's next.
So here it is. After all of this thinking, what's the big takeaway for you? And maybe more importantly, what are you going to do with this new knowledge? Your answer here isn't just the end of an assignment. It's really the beginning of your next chapter.
And look, if you're feeling a little stuck on where to go from here, no worries. You can use these ideas as thought starters. Are you going to go deeper on something you're already doing? Or maybe explore something totally new? You could even just adjust your approach or decide to team up with others. Let your own reflection be your guide here. And that, right there, is the whole point. That's the ultimate takeaway. Reflection isn't just about staring in the rearview mirror. It's fuel. It's what powers the journey ahead. So the real question isn't just what you learned, but what new journey is this reflection going to power for you?